What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through the trades that we took on Friday as well as the game plan going into this week and what I'm going to be looking for. So when it comes to SPY here, 30-minute chart tells us that the trend in the market, and on Friday we had the 655 calls and the 665 or the 655 puts and the 665 calls. So if we look here on the 30-minute chart, this tells us that the trend in the market, and as you can see on the call side, 10 SMA is below the 50. 10's the green, 50's the blue, so there's no trend over here on the call side. And then we look on the put side, we actually were crossed here on the 30-minute, and that tells me that I want to be focused on the short side. And even though we ripped on Friday, there was actually no setup that we could have taken to the downside, but this is what we actually, no, there was a setup, my bad, that we did take to the downside, I believe, but I'm going to go over that in a second. But you can see on the 30-minute here, right off open, we end up crossed, 10's above the 50, but we were still sitting at pretty major spots here on the 4-hour chart. You can see that 4-hour 50 still ended up rejecting, and we couldn't break above higher and through that resistance to send us lower. So going into the day, this is what we had on the 0DT charts. This is where we get our entries from. So this is on the 5-minute chart, 0DTs, and if we look off open here, let me go to the put side to start off. You can see that right off open, we opened up in this area right here at 9:30, below the 50 SMA. You know, there was no trade opportunity on the put side at all because we didn't get across. So you can see, yes, this went negative right here. 10 went below the 50, but that's not a trade you want to be taking because that 30-minute chart was still crossed. So you know, obviously this negative cross isn't something you want to be taking, especially right off of open. You know, this isn't going to be a negative cross I'm taking anyways. And, you know, we came down here, you know, popped back up to the 50. There was no cross, so there was no entry on the downside on Friday. We actually did take a short trade, though, on based on the call side. So this is where the short trade would have came into play. And this was off of this negative cross here, as you can see right here. 10 went above the 50 on the call side, but since that 30-minute chart was still above the 50 SMA, still crossed, I was not interested in taking long. So what I wanted to see was this cross and then cross back down so we could take a short. So we got that 10 crossing the 50 here, and then we finally broke below the 50. I ended up shorting on this candle right here, 1255. You can see 10 went below 50. We got a little bit of a move lower. It was a really choppy move lower, I'm not going to lie. It was a very slow move, but we did hit 65 points on it. I trimmed half, and then I got stopped out, break even on the rest on this pop-up here. So, yeah, that was the only trade we took on Friday. Again, this call cross right here wasn't something I wanted to take with that 30-minute chart still looking the way it did. So, obviously, I didn't take this call cross. It did give a move, but again, wasn't something I was interested in taking on Friday. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty much our day on Friday. All I was looking for, again, the 30-minute chart paints the picture on what you want to be trading. So, you know, 30-minute chart was crossed, and I'm looking for setups to the downside. Like I said, 30-minute chart. Obviously, the call side didn't really tell us anything, but you know, this 30-minute chart was crossed. Again, I still, you know, wasn't too confident in the trend holding given the fact that we're at this 50, but you know, I'm just gonna play what I see, and you know, if we got a short setup, I was gonna take it, and if we got a long setup, that wasn't something I wanted to take because we were still sitting at that major support here at that 50 SMA. You can see we bounced from it right here, right here, right here, and right here, and we finally broke below it into the end of the day, and you know, we started crossing negative, which this chart is actually pretty bullish for tomorrow. I'm not sure what the 1 hour chart's crossing negative. 2-hour chart is starting to lose the 50. So, you know, once we start to get these time frames to cross negative, this 10 cross below the 50 here, and then we get the cross negative on the hourly, that's probably going to send us higher, and we might actually get a bull trend going into the week, but we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. Obviously, we're going to need the cross on the call side. Actually, this is the wrong contract. I didn't even notice that call. So you can see right here on the 30-minute chart, you know, if we do get this cross on the 30-minute next week or tomorrow, market's gonna be bullish, and we're only gonna be focused on the long side. So I'm not sure what these other time frames look like. 2 hours, see what the 4 hours looking like. Yeah, that 4-hour 50 is up there. Honestly, if we do retest it, we probably do just rip right through it if I had to guess, because it is pretty flat. That's not too much of a resistance in my opinion. So if we do get the bull trend, I'd imagine that 4-hour 50 is gonna end up breaking if we do, you know, get a nice rip up into it. But this is gonna be the key chart going into tomorrow, because you know, we're either gonna get this cross right here tomorrow and the market's gonna be bullish, and we're only gonna be focused on the long side. So at that point, we're looking for a 0DT call cross, 50 dip on calls, and then negative cross on puts. That's exactly what we took on Friday. We took the negative cross on calls because the 30-minute chart on the put side was crossed. So we're just gonna be looking for those types of trades. But on the flip side, on the call side this week, if we do get the cross. If this doesn't cross tomorrow, then obviously market will be neutral still, and we're just going to be looking for a cross on either side. So maybe if we reject this 50, then we're going to end up getting a put cross, and we'll take that. But if I had to guess, we're going to see some upside, and the chart's going to end up crossing, and it's going to be a long bias type of week if I had to guess. But obviously we play what we see, and we go from there. So you guys got the game plan for tomorrow. If we cross on the 30, look for the call side. Look for the call cross, look for the 50 dip. If we don't cross, then most likely this is going to reject, and we're going to play a put cross. So pretty simple. You just have to wait for the setup to come to you. That's the great thing. I always say this. We always have a play for both sides of the market, and that's the great thing about the system. It doesn't matter what way we go. There's going to be an opportunity. We get a big move up, okay. Maybe we get a 30-minute cross, get a call cross on the 0DTs to go along, or we just get if the market's neutral, we get a 5-minute cross on either side, and we take that trade. It's very simple. You just have to know how to read the Friday contracts to let you trade and pick your bias kind of on the 0DTs and what you want to be trading. Because if you don't have the 30-minute chart, the 0DT crosses really don't matter. Because you don't really know what the overall bigger picture is. You got to know the most probable trades going into every day, and that's where the 30-minute chart helps us. So right now we're neutral because we're cross negative on both premiums. The 10 SMA is below the 50 here, and same thing on the call side or on the put side. So that's pretty much what we did on Friday. I do like I know this isn't a system play, but Tesla is a really nice looking chart on the regular chart. If I just go here and type in Tesla, I mean, I really like this name. If we go to the daily here, you could probably even see it. Okay, yeah, I mean, you can see this tight range it's building. Let me change the candle type really quickly, but honestly, you could have entered this for a swing. Let me see, where's the candles here? Let me just put on normal candles. You could just see over this previous day high. I love this for a long. So over over this whatever Thursday's high, I mean, we did start to break above. You could have taken a swing entry for this on Friday just because massive volume day. I don't have the bars down here, but I know the volume was pretty high, and we're starting to break out of this little downtrend we had going, and we started to break above that Thursday high. So Tesla is a name I really like. It's really just kind of coiled up right in here. And then again, Oracle is one that I'm going to be watching. It's kind of the same deal. I mean, we have this trend line, and we end up breaking above it. Midweek last week kind of dropped on Friday. So if we do get some sort of recovery on it, I'm going to be looking for this for a breakout as well. But those are some two names that I do like when it comes to individual stocks. I haven't really looked at any other charts. These are just charts that I remember scanning over on Friday. But when it comes to like smaller like names, not like these large cap Oracle, Tesla, I didn't really look at anything for swings yet. So that's what I'm going to be probably doing tomorrow before open, seeing what we could find. And if I see anything good, I'm going to drop it in the Discord. But that's pretty much the game plan. I mean, that's what we did on Friday. Very simple. The last 2 weeks have been really, really good. And obviously, I mean, like the last 2 weeks, I'd say isn't like a normal kind of scenario with the system. I mean, it's just been really, really good. I think we've taken 2 losses over the last 2 weeks, which is phenomenal. And our winners compared to our losers in terms of size is, it's massive difference. I mean, we're getting like 100-point winners, like 80% of the time. And then, we lost, I think, like 15 points on one trade, and then maybe another, I don't know, like 5-point loss or something on like a cross. So, it's been really good. If you guys want to learn, I'm in the Discord literally every day. And I'm dropping, knowledge for you guys, what to look out for, what I'm gonna be, what trade am I looking for, why I'm looking for it. If you guys are like wanting to learn, that's the place to be. Obviously, you do have to pay for it if you want to be in the premium. But if you have any questions, just join the free chat and drop a question, whatever you got. I'm, if you guys know if you're in there, I answer every single question that's given to me in that Discord. So if you guys want to learn and you don't even want to be in the paid, that's completely fine. Just ask away, and I'll be sure to answer your questions. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. Hopefully, we have a good week. And yeah, I'm out. Peace.